Let me take you back to 2016 when Birmingham made the attempt to sign a rider, Richard Hall, but the BSBA said no. You're going to have to use an average from a few years ago. Speed forward to this year, same rider, different club, and all of a sudden he can be used on a 6-point average. The club of course was Cradley, and Richard Hall, they scored a maximum for Cradley last night. Now, have Cradley done anything wrong? Of course not. They did what Birmingham tried to do last season. The problem as ever is the lack of consistency and transparency. Only in Speedway. Good evening and welcome to the Speedway Tavern. We've got a few different people in here. Matt's looking a little bit nervous.
Very busy.
Yeah. He's looking but tonight we have got, as usual, Matt Buck.
Good evening.
And we have got from the Heathens Speedway Supporters Trust, Paul Tromas. Tromans. I can't read my own writing. Not to worry. And Mark Robinson. We got the... can we give them the clap?
Sorry?
Can we give them the clap, please?
Something I don't really want to catch.
And we've also got in the studio today Chris Webby Brown, but we've been trying to do this for a long time. You can't hear him today. It's great.
Can't see me, can't hear me.
It's just absolutely the best. Right, so we've got a lot of things to get through today. First of all, let me have a chat with Paul and Mark. Did you see last night's match? What your thoughts on last night's match?
Too easy. I mean, we've been struggling for a 38 leader all season. It looks like we finally got him. Richard Hall got a 12-point maximum first match. But
not bad for a 6-point rider, is it?
You had to get that.
There'll be a few more of those today. Don't worry about that. Too easy. I think you're absolutely right, and I think Cradley are certainly in the situation. Are they not? Where really they need to get to move up a league, at least one league.
Well, hopefully that could happen, but I think with the present promotion they've said while we're renting our own track it's not going to happen. I mean, look, hopefully if we can get these plans through we'll have our own track and we should hopefully move up a league.
I mean, we'll speak a little bit
if there's still any Speedway left.
Well, yes, there is. I mean, we will speak a little bit about that. I know that you don't want to say too much because things are at a delicate stage, but we will,
Not a problem.
we'll say what we can say. I mean, I think Birmingham's in exactly the same position. We need to move up a league. I think crowds are affected both at Cradley and both at Birmingham.
Yeah.
And it's been said in the past few seasons that the National League have got it right as far as the entertainment value and so on. And I think that's been true perhaps last year and the year before. I think this year it's the top two leagues that have got it right, haven't they, really? The close matches and people taking points off each other, and you just pointed to Mark. So what's Mark got to say on this one?
Me personally, I just think the whole top to bottom structure of all English speedways, it's in the bin. It's on its knees. It just really needs starting from the bottom up. Where'd you start? I mean, I'll go on just look. Folks want to come and watch good racing, yes. And some tracks are so close to a Moto X track, you can't race, and if you can't race, you get no entertainment. If there's no entertainment, fans don't want to come through, and plus you never know what 7 riders you're going to have coming through to support your team.
That's
because of all the other injuries, but the injuries come through badly prepared tracks.
Well, I think it's not even because if a rider is injured, you sort of accept that. It goes with the territory.
But to a point.
To a point. But it's difficult to accept is when a rider. Okay, let's look at Birmingham tomorrow.
Doubling up.
Doubling up. So we've got 3 riders not there. So Carl Robbins is not there, but he's injured. So that's fair enough. But then you've got David Mason not there. The given reason is on holiday. I know this is the National League, but that shouldn't be a reason. And Tom Bacon's not going to be there. I presume he's riding for Peterborough. So Now, tomorrow's a very, very important match for Birmingham. We need to win it. If we're going to make playoffs, we're going to beat you. And it is a straight race, I think, between Cradley and Birmingham at the moment. We'd perhaps throw Mildenhall in as well.
Mildenhall. Don't write Kent off.
Well, there is that, yeah. They did a job on you
Possibly
guys the other day, didn't they?
Yeah.
Possibly
The second dig,
as well.
two digs.
They've done the same.
Possibly
to us,
with
so.
Mildenhall, the issue might be them getting their matches in time before the cut-off, because they've had
eight
matches.
They've
It's
only
not
run
very
eight
many,
meetings yet,
But the point is, it's an important match, and we're going without 3 of our riders, and 2 of them for what other sports would see as legitimate reasons. And so I agree with you totally on what you're saying. It's things like that. That's the doubling up
is the worst
tripling
thing,
up.
I think, yeah.
And yet the BSPA are banning riders left, right, and centre, and he's going to create even more of a problem for having no riders. And you've just got rid of a world champion.
We'll talk about that in a bit, because that's the first.
He's a world champion.
He's a world champion.
He's a world
not the
champion.
current world champion, but he's a world champion.
It's you know.
Yeah, well,
I mean, even Nigel joked last night at Perry Bar, I can get my leathers back on.
Yeah.
So, ain't happening, by the way. Been there, done that.
We was going to get you to go and do it now, actually, but anyway.
Don't encourage it.
I am very encourageable.
So, I mean, do you think you guys have got a chance of making the playoffs?
Now we've signed this great 6-pointer, I think there's a very good chance. If we can stay together, stay uninjured, I think there's a chance. I don't, to be honest, I don't really follow that side of it. I'm more the politics side of it. I couldn't even tell you where we are in the league. I couldn't even name our 1 to 7 riders, and that sounds really embarrassing. But I don't take any notice.
He's too busy last night taking membership form.
Exactly.
Yes, I was busy taking membership.
Well, important job. Yeah, I mean, I take your point. I mean, the whole thing about speed. I mean, I think I say it every week, don't I? I mention something about the BSPA, and the problem with the BSPA isn't that they are bad at what they do or anything. It's that the organisation itself, the way is wrong. It can't be run properly the way that they run it.
Well, the promoters are running the sport themselves, so that's a conflict of interest straight away.
Exactly.
Right.
And what's just happened with Kings Lynn and obviously Chris Holder. Okay, they bring the other body in, the Speedway Control Bureau, but they're all people that run through the BSPA anyway. So, and they all run out the same building in Rugby. So you can sort of see they're all stuck together somewhere. So how does it really work?
It needs
a good. What it wants,
independent body.
What it wants is an independent body, and like I say, I'm on Facebook all the time, and I'm getting a lot of more people now starting to say the same thing. It really is time. Something has got to change. Otherwise, again, a friend told me it's not odd. We've lost a major club every year for the last 10, 12 years.
Mm-hmm. We was looking at that.
That just can't be happening in this. Not in my sport anyway. I don't want it to be. And the only people you can blame are the people running it, and that are the BSPA. And if you run a team, run a stadium, you can't be part of the governing body that control it. Because look at the fiasco we've got now with Chris Holder and Kings Lynn.
Yeah, I mean, let's come on to that, because I mean, I only found out about this literally as we was coming to air, because it was announced this afternoon. So I mean, I think you know a little bit more about this now. So could you bring us up to speed?
Well, we don't know what happened. We don't actually know what happened at Kings Lynn when they was riding against Poole. I think there was a few 2-minute delays. He was excluded for a few 2-minute heats.
Yeah.
And obviously that went into a 28-day ban. And then I think
my
Keith.
understanding is he refused to ride, didn't he? And he left it.
Well, if it's a dangerous track, okay. If you get to heat 15. It can't be a dangerous. Well, it could still be a dangerous track, but by 8:15, there's normally something happened, and
that's right.
We know about Buster doing a good track at Kings Lynn. So what went badly wrong, and if it went badly wrong, how did they manage to get to 8:15 without something being said? Because obviously, you read Facebook, and
Can I step in there, Mark? I mean, what actually happened? They had a regrade. I think it was after heat 6.
Well, we normally get a regrade every 4 races.
But this was a major grade.
Right, okay.
I saw a race, I think it was about heat 10, a clip on Facebook. And the track, to be honest, didn't look that bad. That was late on in the meeting. But, I mean, I don't know what it was like for the earlier heats. And it was Troy Batchelor, who had one ride and then apparently was injured and got signed off. You had Kai Huckenbach. He refused to ride in one race. and Robert Lambert, who refused to ride in one race.
So
And
these were all Kings Lynn.
all Kings Lynn riders, yeah.
Riders,
And it was, and then Chris Holder refused to ride in the rest of the meeting and was fined for withholding his services, basically.
So he's been banned for 28 days. Then he was sacked on the last day of the transfer windows, as they are, and now he's just had a disciplinary from the Speedway Control Bureau, being banned for 9 months. So that's 3 different rulings he's had over him.
Being banned for 9 months, calendar months, or
Well,
Speedway months? Or
Calendar months.
Calendar
It runs into about the second week of April.
right.
So,
It's
So
yeah.
in
9 months
theory,
sounds a lot worse
you know,
than what it actually is.
with all the people out there now doing all the arithmetics, you know, Matt Ford can't use him back at Paul now till the 2nd or 3rd month into the season. So that sort of
Third week.
buggers Pool up.
That's if Chris Holder wants to come back.
Well, there you
Oh,
go.
well, that's a good point.
I know what I would say if I was Chris Holder.
Again, nobody's heard anything from Chris Holder as well. This is the
thing is, there's no transparency.
No.
There's no explanation.
No.
There's no consistency.
No.
And it's that moment. Are you ready with that with our sound effects? This is Speedway shooting itself in the foot. Come.
I'll have it ready in a few.
Okay.
You should have worn it out by now.
I don't. Yeah.
I mean, that one.
Yeah. So
We're on out of bullets, haven't we, to be honest?
We've got people. We want. I should actually remind everybody. We want you all guys. Anything that you have come across this week of Speedway shooting itself in the foot.
Crikey, you'll have loads of people.
Put it up on the shout box, and we'll give it a.
Not too bad.
Yeah, a bit of a delay.
That's better. That's better. That sounds about as quick as the BSPA are doing it as well.
That's more appropriate for when we're talking about Cradley.
Yeah. Oh.
He's going to struggle to get out of here.
What's the score? 8-1?
Oh, actually, I haven't got that.
What's the score? 8-1?
Yes, we are winning 8-1.
Well, we'll 8-2 after the next. What is it?
Well,
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah.
Looking forward to that one.
It's going to be interesting to see what team we track at this race. Anyway, yeah, I think you're going to beat us at Wolverhampton because I think there's half of our team probably haven't.
Well, it's a must win
read
for us. You can afford to lose it. We have to win it. You know, I mean,
I disagree. I don't think we can afford to lose any of our matches if we want to get into the playoffs. I don't.
you've got one match in hand of us, I think, and you're 3 points behind. So you know,
Yeah,
if
but
we
we've got-
lose it. I
I
mean,
mean, next week is Bellevue. That's going to be a tough
that's
old
easy
match.
for you.
Yeah, it's
Where
going to
at?
be a tough old
Where
match.
at?
No, at Perry Bar.
Oh, they should go well there. I mean, Bewley and Smith.
Yeah,
knows
Smith
it.
knows it,
If
yeah.
there's any Birmingham
I might go to that
fans
one. I
listening,
might go to that one.
you've got to go and see Bewley. He is a class act for a 17-year-old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have we saw it.
Um,
Good ride.
I've been to Bellevue 3 times now, and we sat in the main grandstand right on the 4th bend. And when they come round that bend, they're coming at you. They're literally coming at you, and you can hear the sound coming back out through the stadium. And all of a sudden, whoosh, straight in front of you, just like a high-speed train. So I say to everybody, go and sit on that 4th bend, right down the corner. You'll get a fabulous feel of how fast it really is.
It is. It's fantastic. I mean, I did that when I went there on the Good Friday. It was the view I had. So
Yeah.
I haven't
really,
been to Bellevue yet.
It's just a
I
shame
haven't
we
been
couldn't.
either.
It's-
But we're going in the KO Cup, so I'll plan to go there then.
It's just a shame a lot more promoters don't think big instead of something else and start building some decent
There seems
stadiums and
there does seem to be a
tracks.
lot of jealousy about the new Bellevue from
Oh, it's
other
awesome.
clubs.
Honestly, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I say to anybody, you've got to go.
Particularly from a club down the south coast.
And don't worry about the 25 quid or 20 quid to get in. You're sitting down, you've got nice new stuff. It's beautiful. The PA is wonderful, no crackling, blah, blah. It's awesome. And obviously Andy Meredith does do a lovely track as well.
I might disagree on that one, but okay.
It was good when we was up there, and even
Hang
though
on, now, EMB, tell me what was the racing like the last time you were there?
it was awesome.
The last time you were there?
But when Crayley was up there,
Yeah.
I've got to be honest, I didn't see most of it because I was out the back.
we had him curating.
I heard it was the worst meeting they've had up there this year against
Yeah.
Cradley for passing.
We had Meredith curating doing the track at Birmingham for a half a season
For the KO Cup against Eastbourne?
and it was we had him for the half. You know, actually, he was their track curator, and I wasn't happy with the track. It was packed solid. It was packed solid. There was nothing to work with.
A lot of comments last night.
Which I understand is not happening at Bellevue, so maybe he's changed.
Well, a lot of the comments last night, because I've got a personal friend of mine who's Isle of Wight, and he travelled up with a team manager for last night, Kevin Shepherd, and he was saying that the Isle of Wight riders couldn't get the setups right. Bearing in mind I was only there a few weeks ago against you guys. He said they just couldn't get the right setup for last night, so I don't know.
Well, the track was quite different last night.
Yeah, I think the rain the night before had again.
Well, it rained all morning. As
Yeah,
well, so,
again. Well, this is the problem. See,
but having said that, they did a fantastic job to get it on.
Yeah, the track was
at
in
10
good
o'clock
condition.
yesterday morning. I said to the guy on the Isle of Wight, "You need a miracle." And when we got up there,
Yeah, and I
it
thought
was,
that
it
as
was
well.
good. You know,
No, the track was really good last night. The last two matches, the last one at Birmingham against, it was so good I can't even remember who it was against. The track was really good, and it just helps getting some rain on it.
Yeah.
It really, because it's
yeah, well, the rain waters it consistently all over, and depending on how much you have, it sinks in. With the stuff they use with these crop sprayers, by the time he's done a full circuit, it's already drying out, and you've got to get the water in the base.
Yeah, so
for the few races I did see, Tom Perry, he loves that place. He did some great overtaking last night.
He does like Perry Bar.
So, and he'd only spoke to me an hour earlier. He'd only been off the plane a few hours, so
right.
Right. Sorry, Tom. I don't know if you want me to say that, but we'll never mind. It's out now.
you know, somebody said, "Would he be there because he's on holiday?" Jackie.
Well, yeah. So,
right. Well, I think we ought to move on a little bit.
Well, do you want some updates?
And talk about the updates exactly. I was going to say we've got Sheffield versus Workington.
Well, I'll take you to Pool first.
Okay, and Pool versus
Because
Rye
the
House.
latest score, Pool 12, Rye House 30.
Jeez.
Huh?
Wow.
Sorry.
Goodness me!
That was very professional. That was.
That wasn't.
is that 5 on the trot they're going to lose now?
I'd take 7.
Well, I was told Matty Ford had lost interest. According to that, it seems like the riders have lost interest.
Yeah, it looks like
I must admit the Pool fans were all laughing on the forum at us losing at Somerset last night, but Somerset could catch Pool. Rye House could catch them as well. They might not get in the top 4. So
You only lost by 1 point.
I know, yes.
Wow.
Touch.
See, again, this for me, this is what the BSPA have tried to do. They've tried to null everybody and dampen everybody down, so no team can be bigger than anybody else. And this is what's happening. So everybody gets an equal piece of the cake, and you can't have that. It's got to be the fittest of the fittest, and everybody should be trying to catch up with them, like your Man Uniteds. Or maybe Man City nowadays. I don't know. I don't follow football.
I think personal opinion. I think if Speedways run like that, it would fail. I think there needs to be an evening. Yeah, good evening. An evening out. But we'll talk
But
about
don't
it
you
in a
think
moment.
there's
We'll
always
talk
going to
about
be
it in a
top teams like
Of
you've had?
course,
Like,
yeah.
I mean,
Paul managed. Paul have managed to be massively top for the last God knows how many seasons.
yeah.
He's done a good job. He knows what he's doing. He spends all his time doing Speedway. Where I'll be honest, a lot of the other promoters, it's part time, and fans are paying good money to see part time Speedway.
If Speedway had 20 Matt Fords, it'd be fine.
It'd be brilliant. Yes.
Brilliant,
each other.
Probably, yeah, they probably would. I know that, but
And yes, Sheffield versus Workington.
this one's a bit closer. It's Sheffield 20, Workington 10. So bit in it at the moment. So
Close. We normally get close matches.
Running
on the
according to
Thursday.
form, isn't it? That really. I mean, working they've got an outside chance, but they've got so many matches to ride.
Yeah,
Okay.
Sheffield are very strong at home, aren't they?
Is there any chance you could just pass my other bottle of beer, please?
Certainties for the
Right, I'm going
certainties
to
for the
try and open
playoff,
this one there
Sheffield.
without it going. Have you got a tin opener there? Oh, you have got a tin opener.
Can I just say, for those guys that want to join in the debate about anything that we're saying, or if you want to put your own views about anything you want to do about Birmingham, Wolverhampton, Cradley, or Speedway in general, then just shove them on our shout box. And now, Webby's going to tell you how to do that.
That's clever. I didn't even know that.
he has good ideas sometimes.
I say you could have told me you got a tin opener. Bottle opener, sorry. I nearly had me tooth out.
So you can join us on www.wsrbradio.com and go to the chat room there, and we're on there. Or you can go on to various Facebook pages, including Brummies Fans, on the Cradley website as well. We're on there now at the moment. Wolverhampton, we're on there as well. We're on the Birmingham Official and various other places. We're also on TuneIn.
I did off
and
the
after
National
this,
League and Speedway Friends earlier as well.
we're on that as well,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, and Genuine Speedway as well. There's quite a few. So there you go. Passing you back.
Go back to sleep now. So
Well, let's have a chat about what's happening at Wolverhampton.
very nearly deja vu again on Monday against Poole. Obviously they they ended their unbeaten home record a couple of weeks ago, and 10 heats to go, with 14 points clear, and then suddenly Poole rallied, and a couple of races later we were only 3 points in front.
Right.
Thankfully, the nerves were jangling a little bit, but just about managed to get over the line. 50-43 was the final score. Pretty good meeting as well, some very good racing. Poole, considering they're totally out of form, they put up a good fight in fairness, but Hans Hansen was pretty poor for Poole in fairness, only scored 6 points, had a good race with Freddie Lindgren in Heat 13 before Freddie was able to push him out. I think that result really just about confirms Wolsey's place in the top 4 now. Just a shame that we can't get a few more away wins. I mean, a disappointing result last night at Somerset. Got to say, very impressed with Somerset. My first visit there, and I think what they've done there in the short space of time is
it's a nice track and
impressive.
Nice facility, isn't it? Yeah.
So I mean, it's always great to go to a new track. I mean, I went to Rye House as well for the first time earlier in the season. Rye House probably the more impressive in terms of structure because it's obviously a lot older. But no, I enjoyed it last night at Somerset. Apart from the result, but
lost by 1
lost
point.
by 1 point.
Can I ask a question? What engine is Freddie using these days?
I think he's using a GM.
That's the reason I asked the question.
He was using the Gerhard last year, but I think this year he's reverted back.
He started
to
with a Gerhard.
Yeah, and I
He
think
won that first Grand Prix on it, but
Yeah.
I've heard on rumours he's back on the GM now, which is
the
quite
last
surprising.
few months of the season he hasn't looked as quick, and I think that's maybe coincides with him changing back to the GMs. So
Body blow for the Gerhards.
Problem is, coming from a rider's point of view, when you've got an engine that you're not going to take apart for half a season or even a season, and you're having a bad time, you're thinking, you're looking at the engine, is it the engine that's not working or is it me? So get off to the workshop, get it all done, put it back in. With a GM or with a Java, you're doing that every 6 meetings anyway, so you're getting it refreshed, so, if he's having a bad 6 months, he can put it down to his engine. So
I spoke to Jack Parkinson Blackburn about their engine on this very show, and his take on it was that what he has heard is that they're good engines, but they've got a very narrow band of when they're right and when they're wrong as far as setups are concerned, and they're quite difficult. If you get them right, they go like stink.
yeah,
But if you get them wrong, not so much. So.
message from Neil Parkinson: tomorrow's meeting at Plymouth is off.
Okay.
oh, that must be that weather forecast already, is it?
Yeah. Okay.
That's done you a favour, guys, I think.
Well, possibly depend. It depends, doesn't it, on when it's rearranged, etc., and whether we can get it in. But no, okay.
We'll try and get more information on that if we
Yes.
Do we know what the weather forecast is down there tomorrow? I'm sure it's got to be snowing and tornadoes and 100-mile-an-hour winds.
According to the weather forecast I saw on the BBC today, tomorrow's going to be wet.
Okay.
So, they're probably wise.
I was amazed the meeting at Somerset was on, to be honest, because I woke up in the morning, I thought it was going to be a wasted trip, but it was a good trip down. The weather improved. There was a couple of showers in the afternoon, but
Well, I was amazed that it was on Perry Bar,
Yeah.
I've got to be honest, because it really did pelt. It really came down yesterday. I know I was driving through it all day. But I went all the way up to Wales, and it was dry in Wales. That's the wrong way around, surely.
It was moving west to east, weren't it?
Yeah. So anyway, we've done the updates. We've done Wolverhampton. Unless you've got more to talk
well,
about.
Kings Lynn obviously coming up on Monday at home, so that should be
Should be an easy one.
on paper. That should be
Walk
Kings
Yeah.
Lynn. Kings Lynn in total disarray at the
Do you
moment.
know the Kings Lynn side at this moment in time? That's a trick question, by the way, folks.
I don't know. I don't know.
They're boarding Josh Ordy, one of your ex-riders.
That's
Hey,
it.
but
So,
he could be sacked before then.
I can't think of the names off the top of my head.
Josh Orty, Thomason.
Thomas Johansson.
Thomas Johansson, yeah, Michael
Yeah.
Palmtoft as
And
well
Mark
coming in.
Palmtoft,
So
yeah.
So basically,
three really weak in the team completely.
it's
But
cussing your nose off to spite your face.
I mean, we're
isn't
without
it?
Sam Masters at the moment, which is a bloke because he's been in great form in the last few weeks for us and for Edinburgh. Latest on him, I think, is that he's hoping to be back riding before the end of the month, but I think that might be a little bit optimistic. He's got to have an operation to try and speed up his recovery from his broken collarbone. So yeah, that was a
your other reserve. I can't think of the
Mark
name.
Riss.
I know Ellis. He's
well,
covering for
Mark
him.
Riss is a strange one because we initially were told it was going to be 8 weeks, then it was moved to 12, and now it's just gone completely silent. Could do with getting him back in as well certainly
But
before
Ellis
the
has lost a
playoffs.
bit of form, hasn't he? I mean, but first half of the season he was riding really well for all the teams he was riding for.
Well, he was
But the last few
he was on
weeks,
fire at Bellevue, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was disappointing last night. I mean, he only finished one race and he was way behind in that one. So
No, he was literally on fire at Bellevue.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Oh, you got it. Thanks. You caught up with me there. That's what I meant.
Right, now let's have a chat, or as much as you feel you want to talk about the actual planning application. Perhaps give us a little bit of history how it came about.
Well,
I was still in my nappies when this started, so crack on, Paul.
Back in 2002, I'd sort of highlighted this particular spot, Lion Farm playing fields, just off the Birchley Island at junction 2 of the M5. But back at that time, we had objections from the Highways Department. Mike Nichols, who's a Brummie fan incidentally, was a planning officer at Sandwell. He objected on the access through Brunel Drive. And the final nail in the coffin then was we asked Sport England if they would support the project. And they came down and said we can't support it because it would be detrimental to the current facilities, which they'd just spent about £5 million rebuilding and everything else. So when Sport England said, no, we can't support it, and we'll notify the council to that effect, I thought, I'm wasting my time, so we backed away from it. And then 12 or 18, when was it, Robbo? 12 months ago I joined the trust, and they rather foolishly put me in charge of the site search. And within a month I got round about 15 or 16 sites and shortlisted. And I marked them on a score of hotels, 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star. And we all had a look at the various 4 and 5-star sites, and Lion Farm came out top of the list. I think I'm fair to say that.
Yeah.
And Robbo and me, we've been up and down to Lion Farm numerous times, and we said, look, we've got to go for this. Whatever, we'll see it through to the end. If we fail in our first planning application, we'll put in another one. If we fail in that, we'll go to appeal, because we think what we're doing, it's not just Speedway. I don't know if you're aware of it. We're putting in an application for a sports and recreation village.
Yeah.
Lion Farm is about 11 hectares. It's got a covenant on it for sports and recreation only. So that we think is an advantage to us. We're going to include volleyball, basketball courts, a cricket pitch, a rugby pitch, bowling green.
Bowling green's already there. We've got skateboard park, BMX park, where you do your stunts.
Cycle speedway.
BMX track and cycle speedway track, which will probably be in the centre of the speedway track.
That's it, short and sweet, really. We've been in seeing probably 9 or 10 councillors
over the last 12 months.
Now, the feedback we've got from them is they think it's a great project. Lion Farm itself, if you're not familiar with it, and I'm not being detrimental to it, it's one of the most
deprived.
20%, not only in Sandwell, but 20% most deprived areas in the actual country.
Right.
So we think it'll be a great asset to Lion Farm in the area as a whole.
And of course, one of the things that has been famously said about Dudley is it's one of the biggest towns that hasn't got a cricket team. Haven't got
Sandwell.
Okay.
Sandwell.
So, but all yes, but all of those things. So to provide that area with all of those things, got to be a good thing.
Well, that was one of the things I did with the site search. I purposely left out Dudley because I don't think they've got any interest in bringing back the Speedway or the cricket or the football.
Yeah, right.
The non-sporting authorities in the country.
But we left Dudley out because obviously the management were talking to Dudley, and the last thing we wanted to do was have two factions, management and us, trying to get to the council. So we specifically stayed away and just concentrated in Sandwell.
So there's a couple of comments come up on the shout box. Now,
Do you want to start from the bottom?
yeah. So, which one are we looking at? Okay, so
that one first. Then we'll go.
So, I don't know whether you'll be able to answer these questions.
We'll
You
answer what
can't
we
just,
can answer,
just,
yes,
just say
no
you
problem.
can't. Don't worry. So, if Cradley gets the green light on the new track, how will it work with the current promotion?
It's similar to what they've already got at Ladbrokes and what they've already got at Perry Bar.
Right.
We'll be the landlords, and they'll be the tenants. Be nothing different.
There you go.
And we'd like to thank the promotion while we're on it for supporting our application. It's great.
Thanks, Paul.
Good stuff. Then we've got this is from Lauren McClellan. I hope I pronounced that right. Hello from Reading Racers.
Yeah. Yes.
Mark and Paul, you are doing a great job.
Thank you very much, Lauren. Lorraine, sorry. We're not giving up. It's been hard since the application's gone in. It's got even harder. But folks, if a trust like we can do it, you guys can do it down in Reading, and if you guys can follow us, or we
Perhaps
can
Mark,
do it.
Perhaps Mark, you can fill in with that because we're actually members of Supporters Direct.
Yeah, we are members of Supporters Direct, who have helped over 200 sporting organisations, not just football, not just rugby, but cricket and lots of other organisations. They've got a great backup. They've got their own website. They put a lot of stuff down. Again, I think Walsall have a trust. I think Stourbridge have a trust. Blackburn, Leighton Orient, and they're all fans who've got together in big numbers, got affiliated to SD. They've had all the legal rights, blah blah blah, and they've gone through and helped them be part of the actual club they support. And in some places, they've actually taken over and running it, which to be honest, once this came about for Cradley, because we were the first, Reading now are second. If we can get more in, then hopefully we can probably turn Speedway around. I know this is something really pie in the sky, but hey, look, the Chinese wall started with one brick.
I think could do with something like it,
you know.
Right now.
Maybe you could give out. You said they've got a website. Would you like to give out their address?
I think if I don't have it actually, but I think if you just search Supporters Direct, you will get it. If you want to search it, YouTube.
Yeah, we'll get Webby working on that, and you can put that up.
I mean, I would just like, finally, before I move, maybe not move off it, but I would like to appeal to all the Cradley fans. If you want a track, get behind the trust, because we could do with more members than we've actually got at the moment. I don't know if you want us to give the figures. I will tell you, it's embarrassing. Up until 2 weeks ago, we'd got 80 plus members.
Right.
One of the best supported teams in the country. We've actually got 80 plus members in Supporters Trust. So please get behind us.
I think it's a similar story at Birmingham.
I think so.
Yeah.
And I think it's a similar story.
I think it's similar, pretty all over. But again,
Apathy in the sport in general, I think.
Now, before I ask you this next question, you have to understand the rules. Okay. The rules are that if you say Bruce Pennell, we have to chuck you out. Okay.
I'm glad it's not Andrew. I'm Andrew Ailey then.
So without fail, he mentions that name.
This is Dennis Bohemia. His question is best rider ever for
Eric
Cradley?
Gunderson.
Eric Gunderson.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we like Eric.
If you couldn't say Eric Gunderson, who would you have said?
Well, I probably am a bit more senior than you guys. I suppose I go back and say Ivor Brown.
Ivor Brown.
Burnt person.
Third. That's a hard one because Eric was just my hero. He was the reason why I got on a bike. It's going to be a Cradley rider. I'm going to say either Stevie Bastable or Flyer Phil Collins, because he was just pure entertainment every time he came out on a bike.
Because Stevie B rode for Birmingham as well for 2
Yeah.
seasons.
Yes.
Coventry as well.
Yes.
He had a couple of years there, didn't he? So.
Okay. We'll turn that question around a bit. Which rider did you always like? So from other teams, did you like to see get beat?
Hans Nielsen.
Ollie Olsen.
But that never happened. So
I think it did.
Ollie Olsen. I'm with you on that one. Okay, Richard Dimmock. We need to do more for the youth of our sport regarding track time. Could 125cc have a few rides before meetings be an option with the second half 500cc after meeting, as we currently do? Love to hear your views on what we could do. I'm guessing that's to you guys.
The answer is yes, but
It's the promotion, isn't
the
it?
problem is, it's also the track as well.
Yeah, it absolutely is the track.
Again, Steve Evans, he helps the Dream Team in America. Billy, Lance, and a few of the others. I've been over, I think, a few years back, and they've got every sort of motorbike they can get on. I think they even have a Harley.
Pee-wee, you have a Pee-wee thing.
Pee-wee, down to the 50s, to the Harleys, and they allow everybody to have a ride round, get the buzz, get the feel, and if they like it, then they get on the proper stuff.
That's a question for you.
Barry Bishop down at the Isle of Wight has got quite a good idea. My First Skid, I think he runs on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great thing that they do.
We
Do you want to see mine?
Oh dear.
No,
Sorry, that was below the belt.
Oh dear.
That's lost you for words, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, Barry does a fantastic job down there.
Somebody worse than Webby. Right. What was I going to ask? So yeah, first of all, I'd like to answer a little bit myself.
Yeah, answer the question.
As far as any bikes going out before a meeting, that's never going to happen.
No.
Because it takes shale off the track. And
It does down the Isle of Wight. They send their mascots around. They've got a couple of mascots. And
Mascots is a slightly different thing than having people going out and skidding properly, you know. Also, could you imagine, as a supporter, how would you feel if you're sitting there watching some people practicing on 125s and the rain comes down and your meeting gets rained off? You wouldn't be very happy about that, would you? So, I mean, that's just practical reasons.
Again,
before the meeting.
The only one I could say, perhaps, is in the interval. But there again, you've got your staff who want to break.
But you've also got to get the track prepped.
Well,
the kids going round before the meeting are going round on their own. You're not in race mode. It's a different kettle of fish. And obviously, if they're 125s, they're not going sideways. They're literally the wheels behind them, just going forwards. Different kettle of fish.
Yeah. But we don't do enough.
No.
Which brings me to my next
planning as well, doesn't it?
Well, of course it does. Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't be allowed to do it at Perry Bar, for instance. But talking about your new facility, is that something you've thought about having a training track?
We would love to do a training facility, you know. But look, we're realistic. We would never get planning for it. We would never get.
Well, we got to keep it open.
Yeah, it's open, but
we got to see where they're going to take us. I mean, we would like 7 days a week. We know that's never going to be realistic. We'd like maybe a few mornings of the week where we can practice, you know. But we've just got to see where we go with it.
Okay. Louis Seeley says my first skid is great. Neil Parkinson, can you mention we have Josh Orty's 2013 Birmingham race suit up for a bonus ball draw, £10 per number, proceeds towards JPB's 250cc World Championship expenses, which take place at Prague on the end of August.
Or Prague,
Prague, yeah, well, reading, yeah. See Jack Parkinson to Facebook page for details. So
it's done.
There we go. So that's all done. But we'll keep that up there for you as well. My first skid is great. And what are your thoughts on the guy pushing the knobs in the other room? We can't hear you.
He ain't too bad for a Brummie fan.
He's not a Brummie fan, actually. He's worse. He's a
I'm on about
City fan.
I'm on about the round ball.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's where I was going with that. Okay, thank you very much for your comments. We'd love to get some more from you as we go on. Updates?
Yep. Sheffield 26, Workington 16.
That's running slow.
Number 8. Now let's have a look at how it's going at Poole. It's now Poole 17, Rye House 42.
What the hell is going on down there?
Can you give us some scores from Rye House?
I think there's something going on behind the scenes there.
Right.
That's unbelievable.
Chris Harris has had 2 rides and a win in the paid second. Ben Barker's unbeaten, 2 wins in the second. Ricky Wells is unbeaten, 3 wins. Stuart Robson 5 and 2 from 3. Scott Nichols 6 from 3. Christoph Kasperzak at reserve.
Come on then, read
8
the
and
pool.
1 from 8 and 1 from
Give
3.
us the pool rundown.
Morley 2 from 3.
Give us the pool rundown.
That's rubbing it in, isn't it? Christoph Kasperzak at reserve.
Well,
he number 1 for Poole at the beginning.
He did turn up at Rice on the other night, I don't think. So.
Did he not?
For Paul, Brady Kurtz 4 from 3. Jack Holder 2 from 4. Tim O'Larty 1 from 3. Edward Kennick 3 from 3. Hans Anderson 4 from 2. Paul Stark 3 from 2, and James Shane yet to score from 3 rides.
I think I can make a comeback and go off a Paul at that rate. Jeez.
Well, when you look at that, it's not
embarrassing.
Like I say, there's something underhand going on here. Same as what's going on at Kingston.
I don't know how true it is that Matty Ford seems to have lost interest in. I mean, looking at that or listening to that,
he's lost interest as well.
He's not on his own.
Well, I think you're always going to lose interest when the BSBA keep cutting your wings, and they've done that with like say the averages at the start of the season by multiplying them by 1.4, which puts the top riders like now Chris Holder out of a job. You know.
Well, I'm not sure he hasn't put himself out of a job.
Again, I have spoken to some Premiership riders this year because I've always tried to get a union up and running, and the one that he's running at the moment, which I think is the SRA, really doesn't have any teeth. But for the few riders I have spoken to, one of them did say, and I'm not going to mention no names, they have a clause in their contract that they do not speak or do social media and slag any management off, or the BSPA for that matter.
I think that's standard in any sport.
Well, it is, but like I say, all we're getting from this is just one side of the Chris Holder fiasco, and even the comic, the Speedway Star, won't print anything of Chris Holder's comments or anything like that, so it'll always be one-sided. But this is where the fans need to come out now and start really saying, sorry guys, this is just three different decisions in what, 2 weeks.
Well, that's the bad thing.
That's just so inconsistent.
Well, it's wrong.
Of course it is.
You have a decision and then
That's it.
So
Buster's gone bust.
well, it's interesting times, isn't it?
I think it is at Kings Lynn and down in Pools, two of the hotbeds of Speedway, really. Where are they going?
And there's a connection. The rider in the middle.
Chris Holder, yeah. That's true. Right, have we got any more comments? Okay, well, we will carry on talking about your plans for the future then. So, where are you at the moment as far as you've spoken to councillors and so on? Is there any concrete sort of drawings or...
Official name, is it?
Heathens Speedway Supporters Trust.
Okay. So, where exactly are you at the moment?
We've submitted we've actually got planning consultants. We've done our noise assessment. We've done our ecology study. But we've been told, we had a 1.5 hour meeting with planning officers on Tuesday afternoon.
We did.
And we were told what further supporting documentation we need to provide.
Okay.
I.e., we need to do transport assessment. We need to do air quality report. And we need to do a flood risk assessment. So that we'll have to find now other companies that can do those for us. And then the planning application should get validated.
I mean, obviously the bottom line with all of these things is they all cost money.
Yeah. Yep.
So, I mean, where are you?
We are very fortunate that in years gone by...
Heathens Speedway Supporters Club.
Yeah.
HSSC. Which I will say again before you say, because they've done a wonderful job.
Yep.
They've raised this money, and obviously they set up the trust. They're no longer here for whatever reason, but we guys are at the front now, and this is where we are. So I can only say thank you to those guys, because without those guys and that money, we really would be
struggling.
Well, again, as Paul said earlier, the fans need to get behind us. I know we've had 21 years of pain, but this is the best bet, and I've said this before, there is nobody behind us. So you've got to back us. If you don't back us, it ain't gonna happen. There's nobody behind us willing to. There's nobody snapping our heels, willing to take over our running. We're going to see it through to the end, but we do need them to come to the plate.
I think it's true, isn't it, that both your club and my club at the moment are in a state of flux.
Yes.
Yeah. But and it's either make or break for both clubs. I think to an extent, certainly is for Birmingham, and we've no idea.
One of the things, being mooted around at the moment is there's going to be one big league plus the National League. Now, think about that one. The position we, Cradley, personally would be in. What dates would we have available?
Exactly.
We don't even know whether Brom's going to be running next year. So we can't come to you and say, can we use your track?
Yeah,
if there is one big league,
if we are running, which league would we be running in anyway?
Yeah. So what dates would be available if both of you went into one big league? There won't be many days left for Cradley.
If you went back to one big league, Paul, it would have to be on second division terms.
Yeah. Financially. Yeah.
And even with all the thinking me and Paul have done, the scenario is if this comes to fruition, you guys might be renting our track. How about that, eh?
It's true, actually. Yeah.
There you go, Brummy fans. You
Ideally,
can be coming to us, and we'll screw your track over when you want to win a meeting. How about that? Whoa, there's a dig back, guys. There's a dig back.
Unfortunately, it's never happened. That's never
We'll
thank you. We'll talk about that afterwards.
It's true, look, yeah.
It's absolutely not true.
Arthur Browning running into the safety fence, by accident.
Arthur Browning doesn't...
Was it Big Arthur?
Big I's there, yeah, but he doesn't... He's not actually in charge.
On that particular
He was on the tractor at the time he did it.
Oh, that was funny. That was funny, yeah.
For you guys, yeah.
That was funny.
Again, this is just stuff that shouldn't be happening. We've got to be getting fans through the gates to watch racing.
Yeah, I totally
He thought he was still on his bike and trying to fence you, Robbo, wasn't he?
Well,
no, I totally agree with that. Yeah. Okay, we'll broad.
Ollie Hammer, you
well,
can do that
broad-
one for you. He's back for what? By the way, Mark, he's Ollie Hammer.
I do the Ollie Hammer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back for one.
We're back for one meeting. I don't have the date, but it's up on our Facebook page. I think it's a Birmingham meeting, yeah. Back for one night, yeah. I did say to Nigel, because he come over, he says, can I have a word? I'm thinking, oh,
He
no,
was brown
no.
nosing.
What have I done? What have I done now? Have I said anything I shouldn't have said?
And
he-
Nigel's words, let me say this. He
I'll
came
go.
up to Robbo and he said, can I have a quiet word? Well, as you can see, you can never have a
difficult.
quiet word with Robbo.
It's
Carry on,
wonderful.
mate.
So he asked me if I'd do Ollie on Man. I said, yeah, not a problem. To
It's
be
a
honest,
fantastic thing he's been doing.
I love it. I love. Look, I think it was a couple of seasons back when we had a really. It seemed every Tuesday night the sun was shining, and I go to Tesco's on the way in, and I'll spend about 10-15 quid on either junk sweets, water pistols. I go and fill all the water pistols up in the toilets, and when the kids come back, I give them a water pistol,
And get bulky.
and the one girl I give a water pistol to, I said, "Go on, get your granddad." And granddad said, "No, you don't." I said, "Go on, get it." And she wouldn't. I said, "Well, I'll do it." Bang, 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 and I ran off. Brilliant.
You're just
Like I
a
say,
big kid,
it's
really.
Okay, well, see, I think that's brilliant because
Yeah.
I mean, I've stopped doing it a little bit recently, but what I've always done in the break is I work on the track. You see, is I just
Yeah.
collect all the tear-offs and I
Yeah.
go out and give them to the kids.
yeah.
Because it gives them something to do in
Yeah.
that break, and they
Yeah.
all come and they love it. It's just such a simple thing. How much better would that be if the riders signed
Yeah.
them, for instance, or stuff
Yeah,
like that?
look,
You know,
there should be
It's-
more interaction between
Yeah.
us. I think the National League is not too bad compared with the bigger
Yeah.
leagues, shall we call it. You know, there is some interaction between fans and riders.
Well-
but the top leagues, they just want to can't get away quick
Well,
enough.
I like the Bellevue's mascot because he's got that great big helmet on, and he does get
You
involved.
don't have one, bro.
We had one for
did
a
have Bully,
while.
didn't- Bully, wasn't
We
it, I
had
think?
Bully, yeah. We had one for a while under the Phillips regime, but we haven't had one since now. But that was a bit hit and miss anyway. He never
Yeah.
really did anything, did he?
Yeah.
You have the right guy to do it, haven't
Yeah.
you? You really
We
have.
have-
Well, the stuff I want to do, I'd be carted off in the back of a police car, so I have to really tame it down
That's
and just.
unusual for you, isn't it?
I know, but
This is. I've got so many beefs with the way meetings are run. I think Birmingham do a good job of getting meetings through pretty quick. We're quite good
Yeah.
at that. There was some places, Coventry was always the worst.
Yeah.
oh, don't go to Stoke.
Oh yeah, Stoke's
Oh,
pretty
yes.
bad. And
Jeez.
but you get situations like there's even at Birmingham, there's dead time.
Yeah.
There's dead time. So there's intervals, and there's not an awful lot happening.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like Porky if I'm honest, but at least stuff's
It's
going
your
on.
opinion, isn't
Oh
it?
no,
Yeah.
Porky's brilliant. It's
Yeah.
probably because he takes the mickey out of you guys. That's why he
I think
takes the
when
mickey.
Porky's not there, the meeting seems
But
flat.
but
doesn't it? You
but
know?
at least there's stuff going on all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
And you know, when there's track grading, there should be stuff going on.
Yeah.
There should be also just
I mean,
should be stuff going
Again,
on.
Cradley
all
had
the time.
a cheerleading gang as well.
right.
Do all the cheerleading with the pom poms
Well,
and
one thing
whatnot.
that was the Isle of
That's
Wight
good stuff.
supporter said to me last night, and he's mentioned it again on Facebook today, is our lot, the Cradley fans, are too quiet.
Right.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
He was actually saying the Cradley fans
I
are
must
too
make
quiet.
up for half of them now.
We've never had that thrown at us. I have to be honest. But anyway, yeah,
Okay.
you know when we're there. Yes,
Can I just say one thing before we move off it, or if you do move off it?
No.
I'd like to thank the rest of the board members of the Supporters Trust for supporting our plans, because we actually kept this secret for how long, Robbo?
It was August last year.
Yeah, you know, because it's one of them things with certain things. If you have to go to a board once a month and get their permission, you'd never get nowhere.
That's right.
So we did this sort of in the background, and then we came to the board meeting about a month ago, and we said, guys, we got some news for you. We'll put a planning application in today, and that was the first they knew about it. You know, and I would
And-
like to thank them for the support they've given us. I really would.
Brilliant.
And they was all gobsmacked.
Yeah.
Because they didn't realise how much we'd done.
Wouldn't it be great in what 2-3 years or whatever it
The
takes?
same league, the three.
That
of
we
us.
all three of us in the same.
Yeah,
league.
you
Local guys.
renting off us as well.
Yeah.
Well, Brummy anyway.
You
Yeah,
would love.
You never know, you might be able to knock down a
He
league.
would love that to happen.
That's got to be the aim.
I would love it, only because-
and Coventry as well. You know,
Also,
Yeah,
yeah.
yes, and Coventry.
You know, if we could get all them
We
teams.
all want to beat Coventry. Let's be honest
That's it,
about it.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's another
We used
fiasco.
to have
isn't it?
bank holiday Monday at Cradley, and on the evening down over at Brandon. It was great. That was,
That's it.
you know. Fantastic.
But Speedway, because so many of the clubs now are dotted about all over the place,
Mm-hmm.
you don't get that big rivalry that we used to. I mean, I can go back to the 80s when you guys came down to Perry Barton. I
Your
hated
major days.
Yeah, I hated you guys then, I have to say. Because we never bloody
Well,
won.
it feels like there's no difference now. You've had 2 digs. Mind you, I've got 2 back now, and I so
Well,
we
yeah,
recall.
yeah. No, well, it's all a bit
We'll
of
have
banter.
the last dig in a couple of weeks' time when we make it 8-2.
Now we'll just wreck the place before we leave. Oh, sorry, somebody really beat us to it.
Let's just go and have a look and see what's happening in the 2 metres in the 2 metres tonight then. Well, at the moment, still Sheffield 31, Workington 17, so Sheffield have pulled away a little bit in that one. Crucial media for Workington, they could do with getting something out of that one really if they're keeping their charge for the top 4. And just keep a...
I must admit the updates do a fantastic job for people
they
who
do,
can't
yeah,
get to the
yeah.
meeting.
I think Paul are trying to go for the championship. Isn't it?
I think Paul want to join the National League, don't they?
Well, if they can get Kasper Zak at reserve, I'm sure they can get Chris Holder in at number 1 for them in the National League.
22-44 is now the score at Wimborne Road. That's after,
Sorry, what was that again?
22-44.
I tell you what, if you'd have been a betting man, you could have had some money. Oh, I tell you what, you had a clean up tonight, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That's after Heat 11.
Well,
Paul just got 5-1 in Heat
are there
11,
any
so...
Pool fans still watching?
Oh, what's her name that normally gets on that club? That should be down there, wouldn't she? Karen Henley. She does Facebook and she's
Yeah.
avid,
Speedway, round the bend, I think she does.
So Lewis Seeley says, that's why I love the Isle of Wight Warriors. I spanner for my brother down there and they get the kids so involved, like Meet the Rider, kids race on
Yeah.
the track.
They
and
do a good job
autographs
down
at
there.
the
Yeah.
interval.
Yeah,
So-
spot on. That's what we need to be doing. Again, Cradley being where we are, using Wolves and Birmingham, it's hard. I mean, when I was a kid, I was only born at the back of the Speedway. Round about Heat 11, when we had Heat 13 formulas, the gates would be open and there'd be as much going through the gates then to watch the last few races and then the second half of the scratch races.
And you got me on Scotsman's Hill.
You know, and you're on Scotchman's Hill. In fact, I saw a video, and I'm sure it was filmed through one of the holes in the fence.
He wasn't not guilty.
So,
That's all true. However, the most important, this is personal opinion now, the most important thing I think from a kid's point of view is that you turn up at the track and your hero's riding.
Which again, doubling up is killing.
Yeah, doubling
You know.
up is killing and assets is killing.
Yep.
Because, you
Well,
know...
why no assets in the National League?
Oh,
That's absolutely
don't get me
unbelievable.
started on that. That is so...
Yeah.
so
We got Graham
Again,
Drew started on it a few
because
weeks
the,
ago.
the senior teams are dictating to the National
Yeah,
League.
yeah.
You know, it should never be. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh, okay. We've got
Yeah,
some
yeah,
more. We've got some more things as well.
good.
Right, not tuned in for a good while. Tonight has really been interesting. The Cradley guys have been very good.
thank you.
Well,
Thanks,
I'm not
guys.
sure about that.
See, so we're 3-2 up now then. Brilliant. We're in front,
It's
Paul.
nice to hear. This is Stan. We all know Stan here. It's nice to hear passionate Speedway folk speaking about their sport. Reminds of myself in 2003. I'm happy to help getting a home back for the Heathens. I still stand. The last time I went to Lions Farm, it was a Tiverdale Football Club Awards presentation. That was about 7 years ago. It was the pits then. God knows how it looks now.
That's got to be to our benefit, surely.
Well, it's got a great big massive clubhouse, so hopefully when we take that over... Okay, 2 great big two function rooms. So hopefully we'll be taking one over, and obviously when we start winning everything again, we'll fill one side of it with all the silverware.
Still with Stan. He's talkative tonight. Is our Stan, isn't
yeah.
he? Back Cradley Speedway, people. There is the A plan and a dream on a poor bereft site in Oldbury that needs an injection. Prepare to dream to prepare.
It's a good statement.
So,
That's
there
it,
you
that's
go.
what we're
Very
doing.
helpful.
Live the dream.
Now Stan says regarding Birmingham, they have become a pseudo club. It offered so much in 2006, 2007, but is ending so little. Well, that's sort of. Well, I'm not going to agree with that.
Well, the
But
ending's a bit
that's-
premature. Isn't it?
Yeah,
So
but we haven't
it's,
ended yet. And
No, there's things in the pipeline
Yeah,
from
yeah,
what I
well,
hear anyway.
there are things. Yeah,
Yeah.
We've had inklings of
Yeah.
bits and pieces. Can't say too much at the moment. They open the pits up before so the fans can get involved. Most riders even let the little ones sit on a bike. I love
Again, that's
it.
National League.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean they do that at Birmingham. I probably do
Yeah,
that
yeah.
the same at Cradley, I'm sure. Can you say hello to Ethan?
I'll do it.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Hello, Ethan.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello, Ethan. Right.
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Well, I think we'll probably start winding it up then. It's been absolutely fantastic to have you guys in the studio. You are welcome to come and rip the pee out of us anytime you like.
It was easy. We'll happily come again. Not a problem at all.
Well, after the next
Well,
local derby.
I should imagine after the next local derby,
We'll be
you'll
queuing
probably
up
want
there
to
to
come
get
back.
in.
Yeah.
Well, if we slaughter them, we'll come anyway. But if they beat
I'm
us
on
up,
Cradley.
I don't think you'll slaughter us, but I do think you'll win. I think hopefully it'll be a better match than last night.
It was disappointing.
it needs to be entertaining.
Yeah.
We've lost the entertainment in all leagues. I don't see a lot of Speedway.
But I mean, Isle of Wight have struggled all season, haven't they? You know, I mean, my heart goes out to them down there. I talk to their supporters regularly, and they just cannot get the right.
I actually saw some supporters going back home last night, and I thought,
Well, one goal trip.
yeah.
In fact, when you're coming from the Isle of Wight, you surely should get a discount coming in. You really should. When you travel that far, you really should.
When you finally, have any of you guys been down there? If ever you get the chance, go. It's a
Never been
fantastic setup.
Yeah, everybody
Absolutely
tells me.
fantastic setup. Can't praise them enough.
Just such a long.
Way to go. A long way to go for
a
15
rain off.
minutes. Or the rain off.
Yeah.
Again, if the
Been
product was better, again,
think
it's
so.
not because folks aren't coming. This is the problem. We have to
absolutely.
turn it round.
Absolutely. Well, and on that positive note, thank you very much, gentlemen, and see you all again next
Good
week.
night.
Take care.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much, guys. Keep supporting.
Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Enjoy your stay. Michael, Matt, and Chris are here today. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Come and have your say.
Well, Rastafari,